Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is Monday night, October the 20th, time for the First Alert Weather Show at 9. As always, I'm glad you're here. If you have questions, comments, you can put them on the 14 News Facebook page there in the comments section, and we'll see what's on your mind here in just a bit. We have some great weather here to kick off the week. It's going to be clear and cool again overnight. Temperatures down to about 50 or the upper 40s. And then we have a few showers and maybe some thunderstorms to look ahead to by the end of the week. No chance for rain through Thursday. Friday late into the weekend, then we have a daily chance for some scattered rain and maybe some thunderstorms too. The driver of all this will be a warm front lifting up from the southwest. And just by definition, a warm front's going to mean it gets warmer out there, especially as the warm front lifts through. Winds will shift back around to the south. The humidity will come up, and we could see highs again in the lower 70s as that low cranks up milder air off the Gulf. The low will continue to move up the Ohio River Valley, and that will keep the atmosphere unsettled through the weekend with a chance of rain all the way through Monday. Then another, possibly more intense system will be moving in on Tuesday, and that one could produce some showers and thunderstorms as well. Our preliminary rainfall estimate, it could be significant rainfall, meaning more than half an inch across the tri-state. So that would be a good thing, and we will get some of our coolest temps of the season so far, back down into the 40s and upper 30s on Thursday and Friday morning, and then we bounce back there to around 71 by early next week with that second system. Now here on the First Alert Weather Show at 9, we have a little more time to talk about things. So I wanted to look ahead at some of the severe weather parameters that we always check. We don't always show them on here, but we always check them to see what the odds are of thunderstorms. And we look at several different things. So the first is energy. You need potential energy or CAPE in order to spawn storms, and we don't see a lot of that through the weekend, maybe a little more widespread amount of it there by Tuesday. Same with the low-level jet. It picks up a bit on Sunday early in the morning, and that could enhance thunderstorm development, but it looks much more intense on Tuesday. So Tuesday may turn out to be the day that we really need to keep an eye on here as we go forward. Same with shear, not a whole lot in the right place at the right time. Overhead there on Sunday afternoon, and then early next week, going into Tuesday, Wednesday, quite a bit of shear here to our west along the cold front. The question mark is, will any of that make it into the tri-state? The atmosphere will get much more humid by Sunday, Monday. Dew points will come back into the 60s in Monday and Tuesday. So right now, if you just looked at the two systems there, the Tuesday one, at least as it's modeled today, and that's an important distinction here. It doesn't always mean it's going to happen, but the model anyway is showing a lot more of the ingredients we would need for severe weather coming together on Tuesday. Supercell threat and tornado index all pretty low, well, 0 on tornado all the way through the weekend. And of course, it's a little early yet to really figure that out for Tuesday. Forecast wind gust, again, it could get quite windy with that low pressure passing so close. We could see some gusts of 25 to 30. And that would continue into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So the bottom line here is that there really isn't any strong signal at this stage for severe weather. Thunderstorms, perhaps. Severe weather, still quite a guess at this point. So looking at the big map now, that cooler air really diving in. Look at Fargo, 46, 44 in Duluth right now. Of course, that cold water in Lake Superior and a north wind across it is going to make it cold up there just about any time. Here around the tri-state, already we're in the low 60s and mid 50s, and that includes places like Oakland City at 58, Owensboro at 59. We hit 70 today after we dropped down to 40 overnight. Some of you may have had lows in the upper 30s, especially out in the country, you know, where there's a little less heat from buildings and pavement and so forth. So that's 70 in line really with a typical high here in October. No additional rain today. We've had plenty for the month now, about 1.5 inches more than the normal. And for the year, we are still well above normal on rainfall too. For tomorrow, that temperature will rise, but only into the middle 60s because a cold front that's coming through tonight will reinforce the cooler air across the tri-state. Those showers you see up here between Chicago and about Galesburg and Peoria will not make it down here. The air is too dry and it will basically evaporate the rain and probably a good chunk of the cloud cover as well. We have a tropical system that's trying to take root down here in the eastern Caribbean. It has a 90% likelihood of becoming a named storm here this week. So that's another thing to watch, especially if you have a cruise or something planned down here in the Caribbean toward next weekend. And that risk zone extends all the way up out of Cancun there and down into Central America for tropical systems through the week. Actually, that's for the next 2 weeks. The cold front, as I said, other than kicking up a few clouds, really not doing much in the way of impactful weather, other than keeping it very cool and pleasant out there. And we basically go all the way through Thursday unscathed, other than just a few hit or miss clouds each night. By the weekend, it'll be a little different as the atmosphere becomes unstable, or unsettled rather, and a little more set up for some showers and storms. Here's two looks at it. We're going to look at the GFS again, bringing rain in here Friday night, and then off and on through the day Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday, the bigger system coming in with its rain. And I showed you this rain potential already. Let's look how the European plays it out. Friday night into Saturday, check, rain in both, and then Sunday, maybe some rain late, and then Tuesday, that next system. So both the European and the GFS at least loosely agree on the idea that we will have some rain this weekend and another round on Tuesday. The European, with its rainfall estimate, a little lower than the GFS, actually a little higher there when you count in Tuesday. So with both of them signaling rainfall and significant rain, it's a good bet we will get wet this weekend at some point. 50 tonight, up to 69 tomorrow. The 7-day forecast has rain chances beginning late Friday and continuing into the first half of next week. And our temperatures will remain slightly above normal, while rainfall is also above normal too. Our pet pick tonight, this is old Sylvester here striking a pose for us. Jonathan Hampton sent this picture in of Sylvester. So we appreciate all your, we're kind of running out of pet pics too. If you want to submit any over there on 14news.com, submit photos and then go down to pet pics and you can put your pooch, your cat, your snake, your ferret, whatever you have in there, and we'll try to get it on the First Alert Weather Show at 9. Okay, let's see what questions we have here this evening. Zach Seats says, Evansville expect to get daily severe weather chances for next week. Not daily. If I were betting today, I would bet on Tuesday as our best chance of seeing any. Jeff Miller saw the comet, had to use binoculars. Okay, that's good information. I'm going to show you how to find that comet if you're not as handy as Jeff Miller is out there in Savaw. And Sergeant Williams says, bring on the cold weather. He's my my delivery man. I can't remember if it's FedEx or UPS. I know that's like you not knowing if I work at 14 or 25. I think that is a FedEx truck in the background. I hope it is. If not, no offense intended. I appreciate either way what you do. Okay, let's talk about that comet. So Comet Lemon just sort of appeared, and that's sometimes how it works with comets. There are some that happen on kind of a regular basis. We think of Halley's Comet every 76 years, right? So it came in 1910 and 1986, and we won't be around when it comes again. But the point is, some of them are on sort of a fixed orbit and can be predicted. Others, not so much, and Comet Lemon falls into that category. It just sort of appeared. A comet, by the way, is kind of like, it's similar to a meteor, right? When we remember we talked about meteors, you know, the chunk of space debris that flames out when it hits the atmosphere. The difference is with a comet, you still have the space debris and some water or ice, and this thing is flying through space. And what happens is, as it gets close to the sun, and remember, close in astronomical terms is a relative term, right? We're not talking about, you know, a mile away. There's still millions of miles between one and the other. But anyhow, as they get closer to the sun, that ice, ancient ice, and some of the space debris begins to burn, and it creates a tail on the comet, which gives it its signature look. Comets typically have a tail. Whether you can see the tail or not is, again, highly dependent on the comet and your viewing situation. Now, I don't know if Jeff Miller saw the tail or not. In fact, all the stuff I read said you wouldn't really be able to discern a tail. It just kind of looked like a fuzzy ball up there, so maybe he'll chime in there with what he saw. But anyway, as the comet gets closer to the sun, the tail grows in length and prominence, and then as it moves away from the sun, the tail starts to go away. And the Earth happens to be in a position where the closest pass of the comet will happen tomorrow night. Now, we should have clear skies for it, so that's a good thing. And then the big question is where to look. Now, it's not going to be readily apparent. In other words, you're not going to walk out and see this big, flaming thing with a tail. Rather, you're going to have to get out where it's really dark. And I know Jeff Miller lives out there in Posey County in Saval, where they have a lot of good dark skies. And if you look kind of back to the north, you'll see the Big Dipper over this way. And then there's a constellation called Boötes, which kind of looks like a kite. I don't know who drew the constellations way back when, because some of them are kind of hard to figure. But anyway, it's this one. You probably would be able to make out the three stars in kind of a triangle. And tomorrow night it'll be right through there. And then by the 26th, toward the end of the week, it heads over here toward Serpens, the snake. And then on out by Halloween, it'll be a little farther to the west. Again, looking north, west would be to your left. So good luck seeing it, and let me see if Jeff chimed in with any other information here. Darlene wants to know when we will have the first snow. Not this week. Let's see. This last few winters have been really weird. We've had more snow a couple of times in November than we did in all of December. So I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm still trying to get my winter forecast together. The longer range is looking cold, like we're going to have a cold and perhaps wet winter, so that could portend a little more snow. Sergeant Williams is the FedEx guy. That's what I thought here at the station. Okay. William Raleigh's going to get us some more pet pics. We always appreciate that. Let's see here. I think we got, Jeff didn't comment in any more on what he saw through the binoculars, but I'm sure if you can get out there and look in the right spot, you will likely see kind of a fuzzy something up there, which is Comet Lemon. So we'll talk about this again tomorrow. Maybe some pictures will come into my email here at work, and we can share those and chat about that. In the meantime, have a great night. Stay safe, and thank you for watching.